The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of KSMQ Public Service Media Incorporated or its assigns.
Tonight on Health Connections, we're talking about fundraising for cancer research. Stay tuned to hear more about one local option that has many people excited. You're watching Health Connections. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Sean Riley. Tonight we're talking about the Relay for Life, and specifically the one coming up on August the 7th in Austin, Minnesota. Our guests are Linda Byer, Event Chair, and Cheryl Rederath, Publicity Chair. Thank you both for coming on the program.
Thanks for having us, Sean.
Thanks for having us.
So Relay for Life is something that I personally have a lot of interest in and a great passion for. In fact, I'm wearing the shirt for my personal team in remembrance of a person who passed away from inflammatory breast cancer, one of my relatives. And tell us about the Relay for Life. Tell us what exactly it is and what it is for Moore County.
Relay for Life, we are an overnight fundraising walk. We raise money for cancer research, patient services, education. It's a unique event because it is overnight. Our walkers are there to remember, to honor their loved ones, friends, relatives that have been affected by cancer. Cancer doesn't sleep, and that's why we walk overnight. Relay for Life in Moore County has been around since 1994. Mm-hmm. That year they raised a little over $11,000, and they had 9 teams. We've grown quite a bit since that time. We're looking at about 30 teams this year. Last year we raised just under $100,000.
Wow, wow. Now it also supports the survivors at the same time.
Definitely. There's a lot of emotions going on that night. The pathway that we walk around is lined with luminaries, and there's luminaries there for people that have passed away, but also for the survivors. And I would say there's a lot of support, and yep, it's a real big deal for the survivors.
Oh, well, now, Linda, you're a recent survivor.
No, Cheryl.
Sorry.
That's
sorry,
okay.
Cheryl.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Yes. I was diagnosed with skin cancer back in January, and I had surgery in February. It kind of takes you off guard. It really does. I'm doing great, healing, and just great that they were able to remove it with surgery. I didn't have to have any kind of follow-up treatment or anything like that, where a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. So I feel pretty lucky about that.
Well, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
As a survivor.
Thank you.
I mean, that's incredible for people who are survivors and can tell the story afterwards.
Yes.
How is the Relay for Life special to you?
Actually, the place that I work decided to have a team back one of the first years that it started. It used to be held at the athletic field, and we got a team and got involved there. And right after that, my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And so it became a little more special to me. And of course, she passed away from the cancer. And about 7 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with lung cancer. And he also is a survivor.
Wow.
For 7 years, so.
Wow. So a lot of history and a lot of reason to really be engaged.
Yes.
Wow.
And well, this is my second year on the committee. I participated every year since, and finally decided to get the behind the scenes view of what actually takes place, how busy the committee really is, and what goes on behind the scenes. And it's a lot. It's a big project to take on.
So if a lot of people, when they think of Relay for Life, they think of just the walking. What's some of the other components of the project that happens?
Well, we do a lot of fundraisers during the year. We take a little bit of time after the relay off, but we get kicked off right away the beginning of the year. We've done some, like in April, we did a ladies' night out where one of the businesses in town let us use their facility to raise money, and it was kind of a spa night for ladies. Actually tonight, there's a Texas Hold'em going on out at Echo Lanes as we speak, a fundraiser. Let's see, there's been a lot of different things. We had a breakfast at Applebee's that was a fundraiser this year. So we try and do a lot of different things throughout the year to raise money, aside from having the teams come in and raise money also to build towards our goal every year.
So one of the most easily apparent things for fundraising are the luminaries. And if someone's not familiar with the luminaries, it's this small paper bag that people decorate with items or the face, in a lot of cases, of loved ones who have passed away, or sometimes survivors too. But
Right.
how did that become kind of one of the symbols of the Relay for Life?
You know, I'm not really sure the start of that. Relay for Life started in Seattle, Washington in 1985. A doctor there walked a track for 24 hours and raised money that way. To be honest, I don't know where the luminaries came in on that.
So for wherever they've come from, I guess they've become one of the symbols of the project.
Yeah. In the last few years, it's probably been 4 years or so, we've allowed the people that are purchasing the luminaries to take them and decorate them however they wish. And some of them they're just beautiful, with ribbons and photos and little charms, having to do with maybe the person's hobbies, fishing. So it's really something to see when you have approximately 4,000 luminaries that are lining your walking path. You really just are taken aback by what you've seen.
And then they line the path, and then at dusk they all have a candle inside them, right?
Right.
And then lit, and it really does create a kind of an emotional attachment for a lot of people.
It's really I don't really know how to explain it. It's one of the few times that I've seen a crowd of 400 to 500, 600 people, and they're absolutely quiet. It's just amazing. We have an announcer in the background that is reading off the names of the people that the luminaries have been purchased for. And other than that, it is just sheer quietness. It's an emotional time for a lot of people.
Gives that chance for both memorial and celebration at the same time.
Yeah.
And then
Very unique event in that respect.
Yeah. Then it gives that ability for people. Now the luminaries are sold, and the proceeds of that go towards the fundraising.
Yep.
So with that, how are those dollars kind of put out there? So do they go to any particular kind of cancer, or is it just kind of general cancer research? Or
General cancer research. Minnesota is unique among the states, United States. We actually receive a lot of the funds here for research. University of Minnesota, the Mayo Clinic receives a lot of funds. We're just kind of a mecca for cancer research, and so we we are one of the few states that actually receive more funds than what the state, the the Relay for Life's throughout the state raises. We receive more money than that. It also goes for patient services. There's the Hope Lodge in Rochester, and that is for chemo patients, radiation patients, allows them to stay there for an extended period of time. It's a beautiful place, and it just, it's a real homey atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And so some of the money obviously goes to support that. We have a 1-800 number that is available for people to call at any time during the day and ask questions. Maybe they have a concern about a recent diagnosis. They're there just basically for support as well. I remember of hearing one young child that he would get home from school and he would call that 800 number, and they arranged it, the American Cancer Society, so that he would be able to talk to the same person every day. And that was kind of his support system as he went through his treatments. Wow. So it's, the money is going to very good causes throughout the American Cancer Society.
Wow. Well, and the event itself, the Relay for Life itself, kind of creates a community, and just not only spreading awareness and creating funds for fighting this disease, but it also creates this kind of community that people can understand and realize they're not alone. They're not the only ones touched by this. I mean, cancer is one of those immense things that just everyone knows someone who has had cancer. Exactly. For the most part. Yeah. But it kind of brings people together. And with this walk, that being kind of the key portion, but there's all these other events that go on at the same time that help kind of bring the community together. Cheryl, could you tell us some of those?
Actually, the one thing that we really want to emphasize is our new location this year. We will be down at the Bandshell Veterans Pavilion, so we'll have events going on at both places. We have something that's going to be really unique. We try and do a lot of things that will get the kids involved as well as have entertainment. We will have a live auction that day, a silent auction. So it's just a lot of events to keep people at our site for the event, and everything starts that day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The actual opening ceremony begins at 6 o'clock that night. But starting at 3 o'clock, I kind of have a list, if you don't mind if I kind of read from it. We have an entertainment schedule. So starting at 3 o'clock, Cale Ackerman will be entertaining, and he just won at the Paramount Theater here in town. They had local talent, and he won the award for that. Right after his performance, we have Amanda Corey, who has entertained all around Austin. After her, Brad Weber, who has a fantastic voice, will be entertaining us. Then the second edition, and that goes right up until 6 o'clock when our ceremony begins. The KCs will be there and do the flag presentation. And then we do the national anthem. And then we actually have an opening prayer, and we do the survivors. The survivors get to take the first lap as far as they can go. They'll all be designated with purple shirts. Mm-hmm. Anybody in a green shirt, we're pretty much on the committee, so the participants on the team all have white shirts on.
Or gray.
Or gray, yes, like yours. And then after the opening ceremony, people are kind of free to do whatever they want. If they want to walk the track, or right after that, we're going to have some cheerleaders do a presentation for the honorary chair. And at 7 o'clock, we have Deb Norland will kind of close out the entertainment part of it. That will be in the Bandshell. And then as far as other entertainment. One of the things that we're kind of excited about because of our new site, we're going to have a water slide down Skinner's Hill, which I think will be great for the kids. They love, and if it's a real warm day, they're really going to love being in the water anyway. They can purchase a wristband for $5, and so they can go down the water slide, as many times as they want. So that is something totally new for us this year. We're going to have spin art. There's going to be an inflatable. It's a 5-in-1 inflatable that the kids can play on. Rent and Save is donating 2 games. And one of the other things that we have is a dunk tank. And we have some celebrities that are going to be in the dunk tank. So I also have a list of them. Carla Conrad is going to be the first one in the dunk tank, and then it's going to be Mayor Tom Steen, Scott Fuller from KUS Radio, John Wright is next, and one of our committee members approached the new fire chief in town. And so Mike Healy will be here in the dunk tank for us. And then 5:30, the last person prior to the opening ceremony will be Katie Allwelling, and she's a teacher over at Ellis School. And then at 7 o'clock, we have John Mueller, who's acting police chief. And after that, Mike Silvas, who is a manager out at Hy-Vee, and Marion Clennon is going to round out at 8 o'clock. Shortly after that, then we prepare for kind of a little ceremony before we actually go into the lighting of the luminaries, and that about 8:30 is what we kind of plan that to be. So that's kind of some of the stuff. Oh, and then the silent auction is going on during that time. And at 7 o'clock in the Veterans Pavilion, we'll have the actual live auction. And we have Dave Thompson, who will be our auctioneer. And right offhand, I know there's some golf outings that are on that. Linda, there's such a list, I can't even remember all of them.
Yeah. There'll be some wild tickets, I believe some twin tickets, Chanhassen tickets. We have a beautiful Relay for Life quilt that one of our team participants made. She took some t-shirts from previous years from relays and put that into a beautiful quilt, and I think that will be something that will be highly sought after. Every year Hy-Vee and I can't remember his name, but Chef for Hormels donates turf and surf meal. He cooks for you, and I believe Todd Hepler from Hy-Vee will serve it to you. That's something that's always gone real well for us on the live auction.
Well, I think that's, I mean, it's great. You're engaging all aspects of the community. Getting, you know, the local celebrities is a lot of fun.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to dunking the mayor. So
I am too, actually.
So no, I think the other part, engaging the kids, is really great, because one of the things that kind of common misconception is people think of cancer as a disease of the elderly. And you know, if you look at leukemias especially, you know, children are just as likely to get several forms of cancer as anyone of any age. You know, so I think it's great to bring, you know, that awareness to people. So
Actually, 3 years ago we started having a junior honorary chair where we've chosen a child from the Moore County area to represent being our honorary chair. Josie Reinartz was our first, Caitlin Maloney, and then this year we have Alexandra Griffey. Both Caitlin and Alexandra had brain cancer, and they are survivors, thankfully, and doing very well with life now. So yes, you're right, it does affect people of all ages. And you know, our children, our kids, they lose their grandparents, their aunts, their uncles. So it's very important for us to have it as a family event.
So as people want to get involved, who do they contact? You mentioned teams out there, and some groups have teams at work and those type of things, but how do they know to get, or who do they get a hold of to get on?
Well, they can go to our website, which is moorecountyrelayforlife.org, and that will get them in touch with myself or anyone else on the committee. They could also go to our national relay website, which is relayforlife.org, and that will guide them back to a contact for Moore County Relay for Life. We have about 400 participants, so chances are their friends, neighbors, coworkers may be involved, and certainly I would think that they would be able to give them an idea of what it is to be a team participant or a team captain, and pretty easy to find out about
Cool.
Relay for Life.
So what if people have ideas for fundraising? Yeah.
We love to hear their ideas.
Yeah. This year the teams have done some really different things. We've had a black and white ball, which was a formal dance that was held at Torgy's back in April, I believe it was, and we've had fundraisers at a lot of the different restaurants in town, where they give us a percentage of what they take in that day, and that has worked out real well for us. They do rummage sales, bake sales.
One of the teams this year too also created their own cookbook, and they have that for sale. So they will have some of those the day of the relay for sale down there also. So that was something new this year that we hadn't done before.
Right, and there's a team that is doing bandanas, little hair piece things, bracelets, different things like that. So the gamut is huge. A lot of possibilities out there. And
I think the whole "cancer sucks" buttons, if you've seen those,
Yes.
were born at a Relay for Life, actually.
Yeah.
So, those type of
Probably.
kind of things.
Yeah.
So the American Cancer Society sponsors the whole Relay for Life project.
right.
And most counties in Minnesota have a Relay for Life. Is there an overall schedule? So if someone who can't make Moore counties this week or lives outside of the immediate area, is there a place they can go to see kind of all the
Sure.
other counties too?
Yep, they can go to relayforlife.org, and that will guide them to the state of Minnesota. They can click on there and put in a mileage radius that they want to go through, and that will bring them, the closest events in the area. Offhand, I can think of Dodge County. We'll be having one actually the same weekend as our relay, with the exception of they do it on a Friday, Saturday, and we do our Saturday, Sunday.
So you can go to both if you can stay awake?
Yes, yes. In fact, we have had some committee members from Dodge County come over to our relay the following day, but unfortunately we're always usually really busy the night before, so we're not able to make theirs. But Freeborn County will have their relay the weekend after ours. I believe Houston and Fillmore County will be coming up. That's the only ones I can think of offhand in the near future here.
So do you all collaborate? You mentioned it for Dodge County, kind of work together. Do you come up with, if one person finds an idea that really, seems to make more of an impression with the public, to share that with each other?
Right. Yearly we get together at a conference, and that's an opportunity for all the different relays in the state of Minnesota. And actually last year they brought in committees from, I believe, North, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. And so that was an opportunity to get a whole lot of ideas from a lot of different people. We also, the American Cancer Society assigns us a staff partner, and ours is out of the Rochester office, and he takes care of like 3 or 4 different relays. So when they have, or vice versa, somebody has a good idea, they will certainly pass that on to us, and we can get into contact with a lot of them through email as well.
Great. That's great. So what's your expectation of how many people do you think what's your average you'll see at Mower counties this year, and how much funds do you think you'll see out of that?
Well, we have over 400 participants signed up. It's really hard to gauge how many people from the community come out. I would estimate anywhere from 600 to 800, probably, possibly more. Our goal this year is 102,000, just about 103,000, I guess. And last year we raised just under 100,000. That's a big number. That is, I would like to reach that goal, definitely. I'm optimistic at this point. That's a lot of money.
It is.
But
it is. That's really great.
We've learned in the past that Moore County, the public, the people of Moore County are very generous, as well as the businesses. We have a lot of sponsorships from our local businesses. We couldn't put on the relay without their support. So we're hoping. Last year we went actually over the goal by about 10,000.
That's great.
And that was, I mean, I have no idea where that came from.
Wow.
That was a total shock to us.
Well, we're out of time at the moment, but I thank you both very much for being part of this very, very core project. It's huge to see a community come together and be able to raise $100,000 from a community that's really not that many people. I think it's huge. I thank you both for everything you're doing here. So
thank you
for having us.
Appreciate it.
Well, I'm Sean Riley, and this has been Health Connections, and thank you for watching. I also like to say thank you tonight for our assistant producer, Miss 7-year-old Rachel, who has been talking in my ear all night. So thank you very much. And this has been Sean Riley with Health Connections.